Yeah, you know what it is. Welcome to the best coast. Yo, it's Bronze Age nerd with that collecting elite. Big B McFly, steady bringing the vintage heat. Pull up a seat, we diving in the stacks. Silver to the bronze, got the knowledge on tap. From Kirby's Kings to the mutants, wow. We breaking it down in that laid-back style. So grab your snacks, let the panels unfold. This is comic book chilling with the stories we told. Comic book vibes, we flipping them pages. Legends and lore from all the ages. Golden to the modern, we talk that news. With Big B McFly and the nerd cut loose. Yo, you tune into that Bronze Age flow, where comics live and legends grow. Big B McFly in the cut, let's fly. Best coast, baby, comics are what saved me. Big B, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Best Coast Comics. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and I'm joined, as always, by my faithful co-host,
Big B McFly, the comic guy.
And we're here to entertain you with some comic book news. We actually have a guest coming on here in a few minutes. We have Shawn from Overstreet Access to talk about some of the new features on the program for Overstreet Access. We're going to be doing some giveaways, so you're definitely going to want to hang out for that. We're going to be giving away some access to the gold membership level of Overstreet, which is a really cool tool. I've been using it for a few years now and really enjoy it. So definitely hang around for that, and you guys will get a chance to ask some questions and all that fun stuff. Before we dive in, I just want to take a couple of seconds to say our normal notes at the beginning of the show, especially this time of year as we're getting closer to our Heroes for Heroes auction. The first one is we're streaming on a few different channels. If you want to go watch on all the channels or go sub up all those channels, we'd appreciate it. I'm Bronze Age Nerd. I got a link in the description to my channel. You can go check that out. We also have Big B McFly, of course. You can go check out his channel and give it a subscription. And then also the EXP that we're streaming on as well. Make sure you go subscribe up to all those places, please. Another quick thing we're doing that's a little different this week. Maybe you're watching us on a brand new format that launched, which is vertical streaming. We are launching on all three of the YouTube channels. We're doing vertical streaming as well. So you're actually in a different chat feed. So you may not see other people's chat messages we highlight on screen. And this is still kind of a beta thing for us. So if we show something and it cuts off part of the screen on the vertical stream, you know, just let us know in the comments or whatever. We'll try to fix it for next week. I know it's going to be a little interesting as we get through that stuff. So just kind of, you know, bear with us as we learn how to use this new feature on YouTube. That said, we have to talk about Saturday. Saturday is a huge day, November 22nd at 12 p.m. Pacific. That's 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're launching. That's going to be just on the Bronze Age Nerd YouTube channel to keep all the bidding in one place. For Mission 22 to help our veterans, we're raising money through the Heroes for Heroes stream that we do every year. It's the last event of 2025. It's a big deal. We definitely want you in there. I've got lots of great art and comics that have been donated by veterans in the community, by just regular viewers that are watching the show right now, and also from comic book creators. And before I move on to the regular part of the show, I really want to sell it to you that you definitely want to be there for that show. We had a donation come in today, arrived at my house today. Got a package. I knew I was going to be expecting a package from this artist. I did not know what it was. I didn't know what would be in there. But I got something from one of my favorite comic book artists. That's how I'll tease it. Let's see. Am I going to... Yeah, there's the right button for that. I'll show you what I got here. I got something from none other than Brett Booth. So we got a nice Spawn. That's a trading card prelim he did, a sketch for a test for a trading card. So it's on an 11x17. There's on the right, there's some, it's really faint. Sorry, there's just some pencils. It's gonna be a hard time to see it, but it's kind of like some background work it looks like he did. And then in the top corner there, you got some Brett Booth goodness. So huge shout out to Brett Booth for sending that in. Thanks to Dan Kelly for contacting Brett for us. That was really awesome. And hey, if you want to win that, we have original art from David Mack, watercolor paintings from David Mack, as well as some signed prints, signed items from like Brian Michael Bendis, Philip Kennedy Johnson, original art from Aaron Lopresti, just lots of great stuff. You definitely want to tune in and help our veterans. That's November 22nd at 12 p.m. Pacific. Before I bring in our guest, I just want to make sure we say hello to everybody in the chat. We got GT Key Comic and Hydra Asylum. Thank you very much for being here. And also in the bronze medal position, I think this might be a first for Comic Tropes. Comic Tropes. What's up, Chris? Thanks for being here. How is he faithful? You know what? He's faithful enough that he hung out with me on Saturday and listened to all my problems as we talked after seeing Predator Badlands, which was awesome. So we'll talk about that more probably at the end of the show. For the next bit of the show here, we're going to be bringing in an honored guest. I've had him on the show before. Really enjoy talking to Shawn every time I get a chance to. We're going to bring in Shawn from Overstreet Access. Hey, Shawn.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going awesome, man. How are you doing?
You know, it's been a while. It's been an interesting year and a half, honestly. It's been a while since I've been on the show. As you know, Overstreet is owned by Gemstone, which was a sister company to Diamond. So we've kind of been on the periphery of that whole drama for the last year and a half, kind of just hunkering down and getting past it.
Some stuff been going on with Diamond?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Gotcha. So, I mean, we will definitely open up, the chat to some questions, hopefully mostly about Overstreet. Shawn was gracious enough to offer that. So if people are interested, we'll definitely have some time for some questions at the end. I think there's going to be a lot of good opportunity to ask some. Before we dive into some of the stuff we're going to be talking about that you came on for, do you want to kind of tell people a little bit about what you do and what you've helped create over with Overstreet?
So basically, about 6 or 7 years ago, I started building my own collection management system. I've been a web developer and technology director for 25 years now. Geez. And I wasn't really happy with all the different services that were out there at the time. So I kind of put this thing together, and then I approached Diamond at the time and told them they should pay me to build this thing for them. So I kind of talked myself into a job. And so for the last couple of years, we've been building this thing and filling out the database and designing new features and everything. And it's a pretty great system. So we have a huge comic book database, lots of relational metadata about everything, story arcs, characters, and contributors. We've got Overstreet prices, so it's price guide too. And then we've also got a pretty robust collection management system attached to it as well. So.
Yeah, and for those who've been watching my channel for a while, I just jump in to say, if you didn't watch any of my my price look backs where we'd look back at some of the hot comic books, I was using Overstreet Access as one of those price guide points because it was kind of cool to get access to some of that Overstreet pricing and have it all at the click of a button. And I am excited, especially about one of the features that I know you're going to be talking about too with the updates to that pricing. So I don't want to jump the gun there, but excited to hear about that because I think that's going to definitely open up for people that are curious about Overstreet pricing and seeing updates to that. So did you want to kind of show us a little bit about what you've been working on?
Yeah, so let me get my screen shared here. Hold on.
Hey, what's up, Guilty Corgi?
Can you guys see the screen now?
Let me add it to the stage here. And again, for those on vertical, it might be a little small to see. We'll get that figured out in a future stream here, but I think everybody on the regular stream can see that pretty well.
It looks like it's pretty big.
Oh, yeah. So as I said, we've got a huge database of comic information. We've got the price guide. We've got the collection management. One of the big misconceptions that we have been fighting is that there's still kind of the perception out there that Overstreet's still an annual price guide. Yeah. And that's true for the printed guide. And basically, the way that that's going to evolve over time is that the printed guide will end up being a snapshot of what is in Overstreet Access at the time of publishing there. So the print guide will still end up being kind of a collector's item as well as, a paper reference too. But our focus is definitely on, building out the pricing infrastructure for Overstreet Access and moving on with that. So one of the things that I started developing back in August was a way to kind of combat that misperception that we're only, an annual price guide. So we built in tools that allow all of our subscribers to see all of the recent value changes that we've done. So we added a new page up here in the title section that basically details every single issue that's had a price change over the last 90 days.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. Wow. So even, we just launched this last week. I launched part of it, about 3-4 months ago so that we could start getting the data. So, when we launched last week, we still have all of these issues. So this is 3,500 covers, and then with variants, we're up to 6245 for issues that have had a valuation review. So,
Okay.
not all of them have a price change, but like, the Tales to Astonish 74, it has not gone up in price, but the last valuation date was actually, looks like today. We've also dropped in some new publisher filters, so we can come in here and you can actually refine your search down to only look at DC books or Marvel or whatever, as well as some other sorting features in here, so you can track biggest gains. The action went up 500,000. That's pretty good. Biggest drops, percentage gains, and then oldest to newest changes, that kind of thing too. So the goal here is again for us to add some transparency into the valuation mechanism that drives Overstreet. Now, all of the pretty much anywhere you see any of these issues, so Justice League 74, if you had gone into that issue detail page, you'll also see all the valuation update indicators across the board. And this also extends into your collections too. So if you had a book that was in an 8.5, it will actually recalculate the amount and percentage change that your issue has gone up at the grade that you have it inside of your collection.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're going to be adding some additional features in there to kind of show, net up and down of your collection, of your individual boxes, all of that kind of thing too. In addition to that, one of the other challenges that the pricing team has had is going from the limited amount of books that they have to keep, valuation updates on for the printed guide. The printed guide only has, 200,000 some issues in it.
Only.
If they went and even added a small bit of variance into that, it would go from 1,000 pages to God knows how many. So they're dealing with a vastly larger amount of books to keep track of. So one of the things that we thought we would do is prioritize what our subscribers are interested in and what you guys are collecting. So
Nice.
we added in a new feature that will allow you to go into any book. Let's find one that hasn't had one yet, and request a valuation review. So any book in the system, you can come in, and if you don't agree with the price that we've got in there, and that holds with a lot of variants. When variants hit the shelves, we see what variants the publishers put out, and we see what store variants and convention variants and stuff like that are available on day of release. We try and go back and try and fill those in, but especially with the retailer store variants, those trickle in over 4 or 5 months after a book has been published. So we'll try and add those in. And, a lot of times we don't have sales data for some of those new variants, and we don't have, an accurate cover price that, that the retailers are charging, in their shops. So, we'll kind of by default, we'll just throw the A cover price on there. So we're constantly going back and reviewing those. So it actually helps us. It kind of crowdsources that information. If we've got one of these wrong, all we need to do is get a request from you guys. We'll go out and research that. If the pricing team has time, they'll actually take a look at all the variants for that book or all of the books in that volume when they go in and do it. It kind of depends on, how many requests are in the queue. And honestly, this thing has already taken off. We haven't even started publicizing. This is the first press kind of the running on this thing. Although we're going to be sending out some newsletters and some email blasts, and you probably see us on some of the other comic news sites too, talking about this new feature. But what it does is it puts our subscribers' interests up to the top, so that we can always be getting a fresh look at that. Now, Overstreet pricing is it's raw book pricing, and it's value over time. So kind of some of the constraints that we put on this, so somebody's not coming in there and trying to get new prices on ASM 300 every day, is once we've reviewed the valuation of a book, and it shows up with the label on there, it's static for 90 days. That gives us enough time to analyze sales data before the next time that somebody can request the valuation on that book, so that we can kind of clean out some of the noise from a lot of the speculation bumps that you'll see on eBay. You know, casting rumors and all of that stuff can send books spiraling up or down depending upon, you know, how popular the announcement is. Yeah. And sometimes those things fall through and the book will just tank back down or it'll plateau. But we figure 90 days is about the amount of time that it takes to stabilize so that we can see that a bump or a dip is not just, you know, kind of a speculative temporary change.
Right. Nice. I think, you know, it's a lot of great information. I want to take this opportunity to say, I know Metal Elf was in the chat asking about free trials, which I'll let you answer here in a second. But before we even get to that part of it, I want to start getting people a chance to get a chance to win something here, because there's a lot of great tools and resources within Overstreet Access that I've been using for a while now. I've talked about it before. We've given away some access for it before. And I know Shawn wanted to come on and I thought it was a great opportunity to get some people a chance to check out all the features that are in Overstreet Access. So Shawn graciously agreed to give away 3 lifetime gold level memberships to Overstreet Access, which is basically everything on Overstreet Access. So all you have to do, I want to start giving everybody a chance to, I'm going to throw up a little banner here to show you what the hashtag is. In the chat, if you type hashtag Overstreet, you'll get a chance to win those complete accesses right now. And we'll draw those at the end of when we're talking to Shawn here. So definitely check that out. And I did just mention, if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. If I don't ask it right away, I'm marking them and we're going to ask them when we get to the Q&A part. So, but I know we just ask about trials, and I know that's something you probably can answer right away, right? Because I'm sure some people want to go check out the site right now.
Yeah, we will. We actually have a new coupon code. Let me go see if I can find that real quick. That will basically allow you to sign up for a free monthly membership. You can pick bronze, which is just pricing, or silver, which is kind of our intro to collection management, and it allows you 1 collection up to 5,000 issues, and then gold, which is 5 collections, unlimited boxes, unlimited issues. So it's kind of our more power user stuff. So you get a free month to play around with it, and at the end, if you want to keep using it, then all you better do is kind of sign up to continue on with the membership, or you can go ahead and cancel at that time too. So there's no cost to get in the door here.
Sweet. And I did just realize that the hashtag doesn't show up on our vertical stream. So if you're watching on the vertical streams, it's just hashtag Overstreet. Overstreet's all one word. And you type that in the chat and you'll get pulled into the drawing at the end.
Gotcha. And then we have the coupon code. I'm trying to get into chat. I can't actually get in here. So it's OA free month, all one word. So if you guys are interested in doing that, you can also jump in and check it out for free for a month.
Awesome. Yeah. So everybody gets a chance to kind of go see the features. I mean, it's really, you guys have added so much. I admit it had been a while since I logged in, and you were talking about some feature drops. I went and I was checking out some of the new other stuff, like the news stories and all that are on there, which is really cool. I mean, I know you had that for a while now, but definitely filling out the feature set here quite a bit. So
yeah, we're gonna start pressing our Overstreet advisors to start sending in more market reports on a more timely basis. Once we start getting a bunch of those, we'll add a market report section, and hopefully we'll be updating that on a weekly basis. I think since last time we talked, we added the cover scanner in. So, whether you're using the app or actually, I actually use the mobile website just through Safari on my iPhone, and it works through there too. So you can just scan the cover of any book. If it's in the database, it'll pop right up. If it's not, there's a report button, so you can send that. It actually sends me a picture of the book, so it helps me source that and get it added in.
Right on.
We've got the valuation update requests, which are already taken off, and the recent value changes is pretty much a game changer too. There's a couple things that we're going to be working on in the near future. So back when we first started this, because the pricing structure for Overstreet is based on raw values, it gets a little dicey when you get up above 9.2. But collectors have books, slab books that are over 9.2. So what we did is we went ahead and added those grades in so the collectors can add those into their collection. And up until now, we've just extended the 9.2 price up just as a placeholder. But we're actually working on an over 9.2 kind of pricing model. So you'll start noticing that those are coming in and being updated too. And those will represent basically graded only pricing, trying to differentiate between a 9.4 and a 9.6 raw is really subjective unless you're actually a grader, because the amount of defects and the size of the defects and stuff that are so minute, that it's hard to do that. But obviously, you get your CGC back, it's a 9.6, it's a 9.4. There's a clear difference there. And there's obviously a difference with with the valuation scales above 9.2 as well. At some point, we'll also be, extending that certified pricing below 9.2 as well. But that's definitely something we're working on.
Cool. So just kind of features continuing to roll out.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And now that some of the drama from the whole Diamond thing has gone away, we're full steam ahead with new feature development too, and we're taking suggestions. This is a community, so there's a blue feedback button that's on every page inside of the database section. All of that stuff and all the support emails go straight to me. I tend to handle customer support with the phone call as opposed to email chain. And we're always taking suggestions from users. I've had users, give me good ideas and they go into the next production release. So, we try and listen to our community as much as we can as far as, how this thing is built and where we're going with it.
It's a very awesome. Yeah. I know Kilted Corgi is probably asking this question a little bit as a joke, because Mark Spears is very popular in the variant game right now. But some people that may not be familiar with how Overstreet Access works, there are some really robust collection management tools. Do you want to speak to that maybe a little bit, or am I interrupting your kind of flow there? If you had some other
No. I've kind of detailed the recent value stuff, so we can dive into pretty much anything. As far as like the way that you manage collections, our kind of base level approach for this is kind of the whole collection box publisher then issue hierarchy. So, we can dive into a collection. It's also if you set it up right, it's like an inventory management system too. So like with my collection, my box one labeled on my shelf is my box one inside of Overstreet Access. So if I'm looking for, a specific Punisher issue or Batman issue, I can just go search for that issue and it'll actually tell me what box it's in. So if I drop it,
that's awesome.
If I've gone to this issue detail page and go to in collections, it actually tells me, where all my copies are in this. So that's a pretty handy thing.
Nice.
There's also the ability, and this is also something that we've added since last I talked to you, is to view by publisher. So I can come in here, go down to Marvel. I get a breakdown of how many titles and how many issues that I have for Marvel books. When I click into this, now it'll take me into all of my different titles inside of Marvel. If I click into that, it will give me a breakdown of each of the issues that I have for that run. And again, it also tells me where in my collection it is. These all just happen to be in the same box, but if they were in different boxes, it would show you that. And you can click into those as well. And this will also, all the price change stuff will show up here as well. So there'll be a little, a little notifier that this issue has gone up or down in the last 90 days, that kind of thing.
Cool. Actually, so Corgi responded here, and I'm going to give a chance to mention one of my favorite things that you've brought up to me in the past, Shawn. It says artist not really featured, and I'll let you talk about that in a second. But what I want to point out is on every single page on Overstreet Access, there's a little blue banner that says feedback, and it just stays there. So if you have any points and you're like, that's weird, on this page I can't tell what the artist is or whatever, and you're thinking it should be there, you could click on that feedback button, type out what's going on, and then it gives literally Shawn that information, and he'll be looking at it going like, oh, hey, actually the artist is right here, or hey, maybe enough people have talked about that, maybe we should add that feature or something like that. It's one of the cool things.
And on the issue detail pages, we try and fill this in with as accurate as information as we can. Sometimes we'll get stuff wrong, so that's where that feedback button comes in. If we're missing a primary character, or we've got a contributor that's not in here, you can let us know, and we'll get that addressed as soon as we can.
And the cool thing about all those is they're dynamic as well, so you can then click into those names of those characters or those contributors, and you can get even more information about who they are and those different stuff that's in your collection and everything.
Yep, we try and cross-reference that. So we've got first appearance stuff, we've got bio information. Here are all the different volumes that Black Panther shows up in. Inside of that, it'll actually show you which issues that character shows up in. And the same thing with contributors too, so you can go
very cool
artists.
So maybe I missed that. Did you say you can sort like if you're looking for all your Peach Momoko covers, can you do that?
Yep, you should be able to do that. So if we look for Peach, come on,
There she is.
so again, here's all the stuff that we have her down for. One of the things that we do have to wire up in here, the way that we track artists for the variant covers is a little bit different. So we're in the process of making sure that all of those get added into here too. These are all primary artist credits.
Okay.
But yeah.
So
And
that's
again,
when you pulled that up, it's a lot of those is showing the A cover, but she maybe did a variant for some of those.
Yeah, we have all of her variants in here, but as far as like connecting straight into their bio, we have to do some adjustment on that. But yeah.
No, that's fine as long as it gets you directed towards the variant where it is, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
great.
So you can see here she did a bunch of work on Avengers 8. So there's quite a bit of data in the database here. We also track story arcs. So,
yeah, that's cool.
So you can track, you can go by writer as well, eh?
Yep. And the story arcs you can use as kind of a a checklist for making sure that you get everything that's in an event. If you go and you can, anytime you see one of the yellow circles with the plus, you can go in and add that into your collection from pretty much anywhere. So we'll throw this in at 9.2, save to collection. Now, anytime I see this cover, I'll see a green check mark, and that means that I've got it somewhere.
Does it have a want list section as well?
Yep, we can do want list as well.
Cool. So you have that on the go. If you're at a show, you can pull your phone out.
Yep, and the want list will show you a little heart sign, and you can get to that from your dashboard here. So we've got there's my want list here, and you can pretty much see anything on your want list. The other thing, and I know we've covered this before, but this is a pretty cool little feature, is we have what's called a gap list too.
Yeah, I love that.
Gap list is super handy. So basically, you can come in here, and for Amazing Spider-Man 1999, if we hit the gap list, come on, this will show me only the issues from that I don't have in any of my collections. So if you're at your comic shop and you're digging through bins, you just go to the gap list. This way you can kind of stave off the tendency to buy duplicates.
Yeah.
And again, the site's all mobile responsive, so you'll see a nice formatted version for mobile on there. And again, you'll see the price changes on that stuff. You can look at individual values for each of the books as you're going down your gap list. If you add something from your gap list, again, we'll just throw in a random box here. It will automatically remove itself from the gap list as well.
Sweet.
Yep.
That's cool.
Again, like Diamond was really good at letting me just kind of go and build this thing. I didn't have a lot of oversight as far as what functions were in there. I kind of proved to them that I was a legit comic nerd and a collector. So they just kind of let me run with this. And so, I built this from a collector's mindset. I didn't have a bunch of marketing people telling me, you're going to have this feature in there. You got to do this way. And so I built this for me to use. And again, most of my feature requests come from other collectors like you guys, letting me know, hey, this would be a really cool tool in here.
Right.
So we've got quite a list of stuff to build in the next, hopefully a year or so, but we've got a lot of cool stuff coming.
I rarely talk about things this way, but you know, I have conversations with people on shows, and I have conversations with people off shows. And I'll just say this because I think it's something that everybody deserves to know, and I've mentioned it a couple times before. Every conversation I've ever had with Shawn, where he talks about this, it's coming from a place of passion, and it's coming from, like he's talking about right there. Like that's literally, to me, it's the best marketing, because you're saying it's coming from the collector perspective. It's coming from the requests I get from collectors and users that are trying to build this tool and make it better. And I've seen those two visions align, right? Like every feature I see get added, it definitely makes sense. I can see where you're going with it and how it's better for people that are actually using it to collect comic books. And it's not from a, how can we make the most money on this possible kind of way? It's like, how can we make this the best thing it can be? And that's really cool. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
One of the other things that again kind of got a little put on hold because of the whole Diamond mess is our relationships with retailers. I know that we've got some retailers in the stream here tonight, and if you guys are interested in being a part of this, you know, just get my contact info from Bronze Age, and we'll get you all set up. But we offer free accounts for retailers, and basically, you know, you just get added into the retailer section, and it also allows you as retailers to open up your collection for basically to provide insight into you know, what you guys have available for stock. And we're going to be building some tools that help integrate into, you know, some of the other e-commerce systems. But basically, so like 3 Alarm, they use this all the time. They've got like 2,600 and almost 2,700 books up here. We're never going to have this be a marketplace, because we never want to have the misperception that Overstreet is making any money off sales on books, because that leads to the perception that you know, the prices are helping us make money because we get, you know, portions of the sales. So we're never interested in doing that. So any of these things will be based around, if you see a book on here that a retailer outside of your geographic area has and you needed to fill a run, we just provide contact information so that you guys can connect together and figure out, you know, the best way to get you that book, that kind of thing.
So that's really cool, because it helps people find. It's almost like a retailer finder, which a lot of people don't always know how to use. I mean, so that's really cool. But also, like, I had a question for you. Does that, so as a former retailer, the first thing I thought of is, does that have POS integration then? So like if I sell that book, will it minus it out of my account?
It does not yet.
Okay.
That's something that I always wanted to build in here. And when we were part of Diamond, we were kind of hamstrung with that, because, you know, obviously Diamond had their own POS system, and they wanted us to kind of integrate with that Comic Suite, but Comic Suite was not in a point to where it could be integrated with anything at that time. And now it doesn't actually exist anymore. But we also don't have any constraints as a company over who, you know, what kind of partnerships that we can develop. So, you know, one of our goals is to find a good POS partner that, you know, would provide a good integration point for this.
Find out what the most used one is by shops around the nation, and kind of go with that one.
The other thing that we had wanted to do integration with was Pullbox. You know, a lot of people use Pullbox through previews. That obviously doesn't exist anymore either. So it looks like we're probably going to start creating our own Pullbox system.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow, that'll be interesting.
It's going to be a big lift, but, you know,
yeah.
I mean, we built the system from a code perspective to be really upgradable and really really easy to integrate with other software, you know, packages and that kind of thing too. So, you know, whether it's through a partnership or whether we're going to develop it on our own, that's definitely, you know, something that we're pushing now.
I had a great question come through, and I mean, this is in terms of everything that you talk about, Shawn. I know this is a softball question for you, but at the same time, I think it kind of speaks to that point that a lot of people are kind of hearing about this for the first time and may not associate exactly what we're talking about here and the relationship that is involved with Overstreet. So 22 Comics, by the way, thanks for joining in, 22, and asking everybody to like and subscribe. We appreciate that. Ask, where do the values come from? You want to kind of take that one?
So there's a bit of a secret sauce in there. So Overstreet has a valuation team that was and a set of, formulas and kind of pricing rules that Bob Overstreet created 50 years ago, and it's been evolving ever since. We have formulas for all the in-between grades. We have basically a 6-point spread system for any book. They're a little bit different from between gold and silver, and bronze and modern have their own, but basically we get market reports from our Overstreet advisors, and we have a couple of hundred of those throughout the industry and throughout the US, whether it's auction houses or specific retailers or just subject matter experts or even collectors too. And they'll send us basically documented sales on books. Sometimes we have to request that. Sometimes they just provide us that information, and we kind of go through all of that. With the valuation requests, basically that turns into us going back out to the advisors and saying, hey, we got a request on this book. What can you tell us? And so basically we'll kind of aggregate all of that. And we take a look at, completed and sold listings on eBay. We take a look at, some of the big giants like, My Comic Shop, Graham Crackers, that kind of thing. And we'll kind of analyze and see what the market's doing at that point. We're never going to get to a point where we're just scraping, completed and sold listings from eBay. That's the Wild West. You guys all, as collectors, know that the price fluctuations on eBay are out of control. You've got sellers that are putting books up for 5 times what they're worth, and newbies buying those. You've got, 2 guys battling over a book that pushes it way up over value because that's, a personal grail or something like that. You've got all of the speculative stuff, especially with variants, getting pushed. There was one year I was at San Diego, and I had just gotten like one of the last copies of a convention exclusive variant, and I just for my own amusement, I jumped on eBay, and people were already selling that variant that I had just picked up for $500. It was a $40 variant. 3 weeks later, it's down to $60. But a lot of people had bought it, at those rates. So, there's a danger in just kind of going and scraping that data. And I know some of the other price guides out there do that, but we have a little bit more hands-on approach for that.
You said you put more of like a 90-day moratorium on those early books or those spiky books?
For any of that, and basically anytime, even if it's an old Bronze Age book in here, and we do a valuation request for, and it goes up on the site today, that value will hold for 90 days. At that point, once the 90 days is up, users can request another valuation on that, and we'll go back and revisit, we'll do the whole same thing. But this allows us to kind of alleviate the danger of falling into that pitfall of following a trend, following a short-term market fluctuation that while it's a realistic price change in the market from a day-to-day supply and demand standpoint, it doesn't necessarily necessitate or indicate a value over time change. And we're more interested in the value over time, as opposed to, kind of like the quick day-to-day, market fluctuations. I kind of look at it the same way as like with the stock market. We're more interested in the long-term trends as opposed to, the speculator market, which I see more as like trading penny stocks. You can make a lot of money turning over those variants, but man, that can really crash down on you too.
That's true. Do you guys ever think like you might put like a thing where it's like even like maybe a warning or something, or like hey, prices are fluctuating on this issue wildly right now or something, stay tuned for an evaluation, or
at some point I would like to get, whether it's again through partnership or something that we develop on our own, I wouldn't mind having kind of a market indicator, like 3-week sales or month sales on this show a fluctuation of X, Y, or Z.
Right.
Whereas Overstreet price and Overstreet value is here. The market is now right up here with this book. I'd like
maybe not necessarily valuation, but volume of sales. This book has traded hands 300 times in the last 30 days or whatever,
And once we get enough data, there's sites out there that do that. Cover Price does that. GP Analysis does that too, where they're tracking CGC sales. CGC itself has some data that you can get via API that does the same kind of thing too. It's mostly, comes down to, you know, we need to find a source that we think is reliable enough and also wants to partner with us to kind of help feed that data in. And I think that that's something that I would find as a collector, you know, very valuable in here. So it's something
it's always good to know what's in demand, especially like if you're maybe you're a show vendor that only goes to shows and you're like, what, you know, I'm prepping and I can grab 2 more boxes. What should I bring? You know, this is, you know, the new season of, well, all this year I'm bringing Invincible, but the new season of Invincible just dropped. I better make sure to bring Invincible, you know?
Yeah, you know, as this grows and develops, this community and this platform, you know, again, I want it to be the best resource, you know, that collectors can have to be educated about valuations on their comics and the ability to kind of track their collections and stuff. You know, we've done stuff like, you know, we built an export tool in here so that you can export your, you know, either an entire collection or just, you know, single boxes or whatever into an Excel format that details everything and has summaries, evaluations, you know, something that you can hand over to your insurance company and be able to say, here, this is, you know, I need to insure
That's
my
handy.
here's everything I've got with updated, you know, Overstreet valuations for everything.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so you know, it's tools like that. We want people to be educated. We want to make collecting easy. The more kind of transparency we can give into industry pricing on stuff, the better. So, you know, those are different kinds of features and partnerships we're looking to develop.
Yeah, and you know, I'll kind of put this in my own words, not Shawn's words necessarily, or speaking for the community, but as I've kind of come through and checked out Overstreet Access and kind of learned what I've learned about it, one way I try to describe it to people when I'm explaining it is there are like he's talking about, you know, Cover Price and some of the other places where you'll get that sort of ultra snapshot of what's going on in the market at that moment. I would describe Overstreet's pricing as being a little bit more conservative, to where it's going to be a little bit more realistic over time, as opposed to ultra reactionary, basically, is what I like to think of it as some of the other pricing you see, which sometimes that's very valuable. Like, you have a hot book in your hand and you're looking to sell it right now. It's valuable to know like what it's currently going for on the market. But if you're talking about, you know, especially think about some older comics, like some Golden Age stuff, or you're thinking about something that doesn't change hands very often, it's nice to have that like security, knowing that like this has been the trend on the price over time, as opposed to just the most recent sale, which can be very misleading sometimes.
Well, and prices are all over the place like that. I just talked to one of our users today about, I think it was Tomb of Dracula 10. Is that First Blade? Chapter 1.
It's, gosh, is it 10? What issue is it?
I think it's 2.
Yeah, you just,
I think
you may have it right there.
Dracula
Right?
10. I think it's Tomb of Dracula 10. I don't know.
I mean,
Yes. Yep.
some guy just got a copy of it.
Yeah. So, you know, he had requested a price review, and you can see, you know, you guys can still see my screen.
Oh, sorry. In doing that, I think I accidentally removed it.
No, this is a good case study about Overstreet pricing and stuff. So, you know, we have this book down.
He's still down there, Shawn, or Bronze, if you want to grab him.
Trying to.
There we go.
No, that's weird. Why did that do that to me? I'm gonna try to remove it and add it back. Maybe that'll. There we go.
So basically, you know, this book had a $1,600 drop from the last time we did a valuation. And so the guy emailed me and he's like, that's crazy. Like, you know, my LCS down the street has, you know, a 9.2 slab that he's selling for $5,000. You know,
he's not selling it though.
No,
He's got it on the shelf for $5,000.
You know, so I went through and I did my own price review on it, and I called him up and I was like, man, I'm sorry to tell you, like these valuations are right, you know. So we've got a raw 9.2 at $2,400. I went back through, I did the completed sold listings, you know, I called some of my retailer buddies, you know, and we basically went through that. And here I can show you a little bit. This is actually an admin screen, so you guys won't ever see this, but we're tracking valuation changes inside of the system. So every time this book has had a price change inside of Overstreet Access, we keep track of that. So back in 2022, 9.2 was $1,200. Jumped to 2023, it jumped to $4,000. 2025, now it's back down to 2,400. You know, so there's been big fluctuations, and again, this is all documented sales. And I
can attest to that. The fellow that I work with on these, I just traded this weekend, and we do a lot of in depth. And I'm like, well, so we were speaking about it. We're like, well, that book seems to be trending downward right now, or there's a lot of fluctuation on that, or you know. So it's like, yeah, but that's why I picked up that first place. I'm like, we're like, wow, over the last like 3 or 4 months, it looks like it's been trending down a lot. So I'm like, yeah, now's the time to get it.
Nobody's going to like to see the rosy pink labels on these, but you know, books do fall. And honestly, with this book in particular, I think a lot of this fluctuation over the last year had to do with all the rumors of Wesley Snipes coming back to Blade. And then they nixed that. The book immediately dropped, right? Because it had a big ramp up. Then the rumor fell through. And now they're starting to say that he signed on for it again. So who knows what's going to happen? That's a perfect example of market fluctuation. Having
the movie's on, the movie's off, the movie's on, the movie's off.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, you know.
Right. Yeah.
We're getting a lot of questions in chat. I'll kind of read both of them, and I'll let you get a chance to answer them.
Sure.
So 22 came in late there, and he was kind of asking some questions. Is this an app that is a competition with CLZ and the Cover Price collab? And then Trollord asked, hey, Overstreet is getting their own app. So kind of, again, you know, some of these people, let's try to kind of maybe kind of go back to square one a little bit and kind of explain, you know, kind of where you're at with your site and potential app and everything.
So, okay. So the first question, you know, are we competing with CLZ and Cover Price? Yes and no. Yes is the easiest answer. We both offer, you know, a great big comic database. We've got collection management, and then with CLZ's partnership with Cover Price, which I think was a great move for those guys. And I have a lot of respect for CLZ. I still have a CLZ account that I use for reference and stuff. You know, part of my collection is still in there that I haven't had time to migrate over because I'm dealing with everybody else's collections. You know, and listen, it's a different tool for people to deal with things, you know, in a slightly different manner. I think that CLZ is, you know, their interface is pretty robust. They've got a lot of features. I find it a little bit more actuarial. I feel like I'm working in Excel with it. Whereas, you know, kind of the emphasis on our site is also, you know, learning about comics. We've got that kind of encyclopedia of comic knowledge in there. So it's not all just statistics and, you know, in rows and columns and stuff like that. So, you know, ours is a little bit more robust in that respect. I think that you'll start to see more deviation between us and other, you know, sites like CLZ as we kind of, you know, increase our you know, available features and functions. You know, we've got a definite direction that puts us kind of in our own little space, you know, once we get there. But again, like those guys have a great product. The guys at Cover Price are great too. Their pricing structure and the way they do stuff is very different than ours.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that they play a little bit more to that moment to moment market fluctuation side of things than kind of the value over time. But again, you know, I mean, there's different tools for different people, you know, so, you know.
And then just to be clear, I guess I was kind of queuing you up here for one specific part of that question, which is, we've talked about the website, we've talked about how adaptable it is on mobile, but there is also an app, right?
There is an app, and I got to tell you, it needs a good update.
Okay.
I always encourage, you know, our users, and I'm pretty transparent about, you know, strengths and weaknesses of Overstreet Access. I got to tell you, I don't like our app right now. It's being redeveloped. That was you know, something that was supposed to be out, you know, over a year ago, but again, we've had some other things to deal with in the last year.
There's been some stuff going on.
Yeah. But the mobile website, you know, is fully responsive. It has all the updated features and functionality of the website itself. I tend to use that more often. Again, you know, just because it has the latest, greatest of everything, and the next version of the app will have the same thing as well too.
Right on. That's awesome. Yeah, and I will attest to the fact that it does work very well on mobile as far as like in a browser. So if you want to get that same functionality, you're going to get it, you know, through the browser as well. I do want to point out, you know, it's been a minute since I mentioned it. Some people have definitely hopped in. We're saying hello to all those folks. You can actually get a chance to win a lifetime gold level access to Overstreet Access. all you have to do is type in hashtag Overstreet. There's a little banner playing either at the bottom or the top of the screen, depending on which format you're watching. So type in hashtag Overstreet. We got some people entering that in a few minutes here. We're going to go ahead and give that away. So make sure you get your entries in for that if you're interested in winning that for life, which is invaluable. That's really awesome. And I appreciate Shawn coming on and doing that. That's really cool. And then got some love there for the story arcs from Mr. Science Snake, whose name shows up strangely in StreamYard right now for some reason. Speaking of software things.
All of your search things are really cool. That's I think that's really amazing.
Well, and just as a side note, because with the limited time that we've got with the with the podcast structure, if anybody's got questions, feel free to email me directly at support@overstreetaccess.com. All those emails go to me. If you've got other random questions, if you want a demo, I'll jump on a Zoom call with anybody and give a demo anytime. I love this thing. This is my baby, and I like showing it off too. So I will definitely respond to any questions or anything like that you guys have.
And also, I know for a fact we got some content creators in the chat too. Content creators, if you're curious about maybe exploring this more in your content, reach out to me and I'll get you in touch with Shawn, because I know he loves to talk to content creators too, and kind of give you a chance to check it out and kind of maybe talk about it on your channels too.
Total segue. I thought I was going to have it here today. It was supposed to arrive in the mail today, but it didn't. So I was going to debut it on the show. I helped produce my first comic now.
Oh wow!
Yeah?
I'm actually going to have a creator shout out here on the site too. Yeah,
nice.
Oh, that would be cool.
With JC Vaughn. It's called Dead Inspector.
Ooh, okay.
So,
nice. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So when's the like official launch then?
So we did it through crowdfunding.
Okay.
JC's in conversations with a couple of different publishers to see if we can get it direct market, which would be nice.
Right on, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So, I've got a couple questions for you. So I know Bronze and I I'm more of a retro collector. So jumping into a lot of the modern stuff, like all the variants and stuff so I've just started kind of getting into that. And we both saw, we were getting ready for a show and pricing stuff was insane. So even going to some of the other sites, I would put in, they had the scan feature or whatever. I couldn't find a book. They'd be like, no record of this book. So do you guys have the missing covers? Is it the blue button, like you said, or
the blue button? With the cover scanner, if it tries to match it best it can, and it actually is very, very good. It'll scan inside of slabs as long as there's no glare. I've actually scanned books upside down, and it finds them.
Cool.
If it doesn't recognize it, it's probably in the database, but it's probably needing a price. If it's a variant, it probably needs to be added to the system. The variant game has been a huge challenge in the last.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, we've entered in over 220,000 variants, and we still have a lot to add.
Yeah,
there's just so many out there. Dynamite puts out 25 variants for every book they put out, pretty much.
Yeah.
Then we got Mark Spears now. Mark Spears is doing 90 variants per book, and now he's doing blind bags, so that makes it even harder. So, with the stuff that he's doing, and it's energizing the industry. I get it, and I like collecting variant covers, and I get a little OCD with my collecting habits, so it gets pretty expensive. But the thing that he's doing with the blind bag thing now, that DC is now apparently doing, I don't know if they've started it yet, where all variants are going to be part in a blind bag format. So you might get a ratio variant, you might not. It gets exciting for collectors, but man, is it a challenge for collection management sites like us?
Yeah, database management. It's just
yeah.
It's I mean, do you know on average how many issues you guys add to the database?
Okay, well, I'll show you this. So every week we've got this new comic section, and this actually is historical too. So you can go back and see August 13th, what came out that Wednesday. So that week we had 88 covers, and we had 371 with variants.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So like last week, what was it, 12? We had 443 total issues added. Only 108 of those were A covers.
Wow.
So there's about 2 to 3 times as many books or variant covers coming out with stuff. And
Yeah, it's crazy.
So in your search engine, I know a lot of people collect like the books that came out on their birthday or the year of their year of their birthday. You guys have that kind of thing too, where you can search all the books that came out that year.
Not for the year, but if I want to come back and look at what came out right after I was
in your birth or whatever,
I'll be in here. But some dates it'll go back that far, some dates it won't. It all, we have a lot of release dates, but not a lot of store dates for some of the old books in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just curious. And then I know we've talked about some of the pricing. So 9.2 is your baseline for the graded books.
Because that's kind of top grade for raw.
Okay.
Again, you can buy a 9.4 raw or a 9.6 raw, but unless that's been actually,
you gotta be pretty picky. Yeah.
you gotta be pretty picky. Although I don't know. CGC is doing its own stuff. Actually, I was going to email you about this. Did you see what they did with Heritage?
No, I don't.
Heritage has an auction. I am totally deviating out of here, and I'm going to try not to be snarky about this. Heritage is selling a 9.0 Superman 1. Certified by CGC. Now, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this one now. Right? Heritage. Okay, so we go to Heritage here. Let's do.
It's the highest graded copy. It's the one that was found in the attic, right?
Yeah, and it's actually a great. Here we go. Here it is. It's actually, it's a great copy. But I want you to take a look at this, though. This is a 9.0 according to CGC. Can you see what I'm seeing?
Yeah,
I see staining up there in the corner. Yeah, and if you had that on a new issue, that's not going to be fine.
Not square corners. They've got this. What does it say? Off-white to white pages. But if you go and look at the behind, you can see the pages poking out. That's definitely covered coffee colored pages. So.
I do know. I mean, I don't know to what level it matters because, and this gets on a whole thing about transparency with me, but they do say that they grade differently for Golden Age than they do for other ages.
They do,
but even then, a 9.0 and
that's a change in what they used to say. They used to say everything was all the same. A new book versus a Golden Age book, everything was all the same, and then they changed it.
And again, I don't want to poke too much fun at CGC. No. I like those guys.
Speaking of like different companies, that was a question I had. Like, so with all the other companies entering the fray, are you guys going to differentiate between the different grading companies too?
So right now, again, we have the ability. Let me jump into the collection here real quick.
Yeah, hell of a 9.0. Very subjective. That's a good. Yep, I agree with
that. Yeah, I looked at that and I was like, is that really a 9.0?
Maybe a little conflict of interest. I mean, they get a percentage on that, right? Too. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't see that going for a 9.0 price for that book, but who knows?
It is a nice copy.
It is a very nice copy of that book. So right now, when we have the ability to add books as being certified in there. I need to, in our next update, I need to add PSA in here.
Okay.
Which I've been hearing a lot of good things about their grading. And
I gotta say, I have a buddy who I was at his house last night, and he handed me one of their slabs. Oh my God, it's so much sturdier, way heavier. And he's like, I've switched over completely to them. And just my first submission came back.
It's not only that. I can't remember. I saw somebody on TikTok, it might have been Comic Tom, doing a comparison. They're doing like a top 10 CGC versus PSA kind of comparison for resale values.
Yeah, yeah,
PSA books are starting to sell just as good as CGC, if not better.
right.
So their grading is tight. Their cases are good. I need to add PSA into here, and I think one of the next features that I'm going to build in here is also kind of the subcategories under each. CGC, has all of their different labels, so we'll probably add the different
Qualified.
labels. Yep. So you can see, signature series versus regular versus whatever. CBCS doesn't really have any of that. PGX is kind of in here just because there are still PGX slabs going around. I don't know I don't even know if they're doing like new grading anymore. That's how.
So do you have like on your raws? Do you have a way? Can you put notes in? Like if you have I got this signed at a convention or something by the artist.
So we don't have a pricing structure that takes into account signing, because again, that's subjective in and of itself. Also.
Right.
And that's kind of that's more of an aesthetic choice. Am I going to pay more because Stan's, signature is really, prominent and it's over here and it's a great place on this book, whereas on this book it's not. I would pay more for a good signature, but none of the valuation companies are going to be able to do that. So we can mark books as signed. You can put in who it's signed by. We have notes for in here. You can also put in your purchase price, so you can kind of see where what your price point was in there, purchase date, that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Again, if there's any more metadata, I know like CLZ has like 18 different kinds of metadata that you can put in here about your book. We kind of chiseled it down to what we figured was the kind of like the most important information. But again, if we get enough, suggestions from our subscribers to add different fields and stuff in here, we'll do that.
I don't think a Funko Pop tab is probably coming anytime soon, Guilty Corgi. Appreciate that one though.
So I got a goofy question. When you were running through things, did you have Warlock 5 #1 in your collection? I was like, it popped up on the screen. I was like, that's Warlock 5 #1.
Oh, probably. Yes. I don't have that book, but this account that I'm showing you guys on stuff on here is
great indie book from the 80s, guys.
Yeah. We get a lot of those old books though too.
I'm pretty sure 22 to your point about adding what you paid for the signature. You could probably add that into the notes section, right?
So there's the purchase. Yeah. There's the purchase price field. There's the notes field in there too. And that's a big thing these days. You go to, a big time collectibles kind of booth at any of these, at the Fan Expo conventions where they've got all the creators kind of chained to the table, and you buy your $45 variant, and then you pay another $45 to get Tinian to sign your book, that kind of thing.
It's really quirky, like trying to figure out like what the value of a signature is. That's in and of itself. Like I have some books that are signed by Stan that are raw, and I'm like, so you're going like, okay, trying to do comps, and like, okay, here's the value of the book. So then is that difference in the value of the book, then is that the value of his signature? It's like,
well, I mean, yeah, especially with CGC, that's tough. It used to be that they have to be there to witness the subscription. I don't know if there was ever a surcharge on that. I had a New Mutants 98 that I got at Boston Comic-Con back in like 2014. That's actually, I had Rob and Stan sign me and the book.
Cool.
But like I bought that book, I cracked it. It was a 9.6. I had Rob sign it, with CGC there, and then I was going over to see Stan and meet him. But they actually took my book from me. I didn't see that book for 5 months.
Oh wow!
So I didn't even get to see Stan sign my own book because of CGC's rules with that. It's a little different now, because now they've got the signature verification. So I don't know what kind of surcharge or what pricing structure they have for that, whether it's different for different signatures or, if it's just a one-time cost for that. But, it would be cool to kind of quantify and qualify that, that price difference for getting signatures graded and stuff like that. But
real fast, I want to make sure we run this giveaway before people might bail, and I wanted to hear this important piece of information, which is that if you are one of the winners that wins the lifetime gold membership to Overstreet Access, you're going to get to use all these great features for life, which is awesome. And I can't thank Shawn enough for doing that. That's really great. But we do need some information from you. We're going to need what their name and their email address, right?
Yep, full name and email.
Full name and email address. So I know you won't want to send that over YouTube chat, most likely. That's totally fine. If you're able to get in touch with me, Bronze Age Nerd, any of the social medias, you can get in touch with me. That's fine. Just DM me that way, and I'll be able to get that information. But if you're one of those winners, the other thing you can do is I'll paste this into the chat right now. I'll paste in my my email address, and I'll take all the weird Russian spam bot stuff. It's just the Bronze Age
like
Nerd.
that. You'd like it.
Yeah, that's true. I get so many of my questionable products that way. But yeah, the Bronze Age Nerd at gmail.com. You can just email me that way with your full name and or whatever full name you want to give, I guess, and your email address. But that's what you're going to use to log in for life. So you want to make sure it's whatever you're going to use for that. And we're actually going to roll that here in a minute. So if you haven't typed in hashtag Overstreet, this is the last chance to do that. Make sure you get that entered in there, and then make sure you get in touch with me if you're one of the winners afterwards. If you're watching this on the rewind, no worries, because you had to go to bed. I know it's late for some people. We'll give you a little grace period there, and then hit me back up, and we will figure out who the winners are and get your information and get your logins. So I think we should run that now before we're kind of at the end of that hour time when a lot of people probably usually will leave our show. I know we had a lot of people enter already. Jay, are you ready on the back end to share that and run it? You're so awesome, Jay. Oh my gosh, I saw into the infinity and then went beyond. All right, so you got, was that 15 entries or 19? I can't really read that from here. 10?
10.
Oh wow. Okay, 10. So hey, that's really good odds.
You guys need to jump in.
Yeah, you got basically, there's some lag on the stream, so I'll give you about 10 seconds or so to get that typed in real quick if you haven't entered already. Man, some people are going to win some awesome stuff here. That's great. All right, well, we are going to do 3 entries too, so I think you're probably good to run the first one now. And here we go. We're going to have our first winner, and it is going to be... Oh, Comic Tropes. Hey, there you go.
There you go.
I'll be able to get in touch with him real easy. I think he may have already went to bed or something like that. He had his stream earlier tonight, but Comic Tropes not a bad guy to preview the software and talk about it on stream. Like 250,000 subscribers. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Congrats. Congrats, Comic Tropes. All right, and we're going to give away 2 more of those.
To have.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Hashtag rigged is going to start coming in here pretty soon. And our second winner is going to be Geek Out with Roscoe. What's up, Roscoe?
Hey.
I know you're kind of
Roscoe. Congrats, brother.
Congrats for your brother. I know you're somebody who's going to love checking that software out as well. And then we'll do our last winner, everybody. So this is the for all the marbles.
Roscoe's going to be using that sort for
Metal. Hey, Metal Elf was looking for a free
Metal
trial. You don't have to worry about it now, Metal Elf. You get to check it out and let us know what you think about the software. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
Roscoe's going to be sorting for Scotty Young.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for everybody for entering that giveaway, and thanks Shawn for being willing to do that. That's really cool. I know.
Yeah, anytime.
I've had a lot of good feedback from people that were previous winners from times we've done stuff like this, and they enjoyed checking it out and using the site and everything. So that's awesome.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and like I said, if anybody's looking for a demo or has separate questions, email me at support@overstreetaccess.com. For those of you that didn't win anything today, we do have that coupon code. I think it's OA free month is all one word. That'll get you basically a free month of access in there. Give me any question is on the table too. So like I said, I'll do demos too.
Yeah, the level of transparency and customer support is what you can call it, but it goes beyond that. In my experience, is going to be really great with Shawn and Overstreet Access. So that's really cool. You got three content creators, actually one. So
that's awesome.
You'll get some good feedback there, I'm sure. And that's cool. But shout out to all our content creators that watch too. A lot of you in here actually are content creators, so that's really cool. We had a lot of time with you, Shawn. I by no means want to cut it short, but we did have a couple news stories we're going to talk about. Is there any other things that you didn't get to that we wanted to make sure we hit before we?
Oh man, I could talk for another hour or two on the site too. So I think that's good. I think I hit all my points that I was looking to hit today. You know, again,
nice.
Got any other questions? But yeah, by all means, like let's see what else you got.
Absolutely. And then I know we'll be in touch too as more features roll out. You know, maybe we can have you back on to, you know, quickly show off whatever else comes up, or in depth if there are bigger features, that kind of stuff. And yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It was really cool getting a chance to check in with what you guys have been doing. It's so much progress. I say you guys. In actuality, I know it's pretty much all you.
It's pretty much all me. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, I'll be back as soon as we have some new stuff to talk about.
Awesome, man. Sounds good. Thanks for coming on again, and thanks for giving away those memberships.
Yep.
And I'll reach out to you with the information from those winners.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Have a good night, Shawn.
See you.
All right. Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks, Shawn. I know we're a little over on time. I'm going to try to be as respectful as possible to the fact that we have our producer hanging out in the back, who's used to us ending a little bit, you know, around this time. But I do want to make sure we at least talk about the main stories I put in the title, because I don't want to be clickbait for anybody. So we're going to kind of quickly go through those. It's mostly just a couple announcements. First is, and this is something that's really cool. I've been following along a lot with some stuff about this title and this creator recently. I'm sure a lot of us have. I'm talking about Dave Stevens and his probably one of his most famous you know, creations out there, the Rocketeer, if not the most famous. So the title on this comicbook.com article is Disney's most underrated 90s movie is finally getting a follow-up, and sooner than you think. And what is that? That is a new IDW comic book launching where the Rocketeer is going to save Amelia Earhart. It's the Rocketeer, The Island, with some pretty cool cover art here too. Some Dave Stevens there. And they have a little preview on this comicbook.com website, where you get to check out a little bit of the information about the book. And they have some preview pages up here as well, which is pretty neat. I think, you know, the popularity of Dave Stevens has been something that's really come to the forefront the last few years as people have found appreciation for his work and his notoriety. This is gonna be out in February. It's from IDW, Rocketeer Island, The Island #1. I know the team was in here. Who was on the team here? Wish it was a little bit easier to find. So it's going to be writers John Layman and artist is Jacob Edgar, colorist KJ Diaz. So definitely check it out. I'm excited. Yeah, because of this, I actually was going to go sit down and watch the Rocketeer when I get some time, rewatch it. I agree with you. Hopefully this kind of stuff will spurn that on, but pretty cool. I like it.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I think the other article I talked about in our headline is the stuff with Dynamite. It's really not a huge deal, so I won't belabor the point, and I'm sure more information will come out with this. But basically, Dynamite is going to be also distributed through Universal, which, you know, is kind of an interesting point. But according to this ICV2 article, Dynamite was previously distributed by Universal only in Canada, but they partnered with Dynamite CEO Nick Barucci, and they were going to go ahead and kick off in January. They're going to start shipping titles through Universal domestically as well, which is really cool. So, and then we talked about that recently, that Universal got the rights to Free Comic Book Day. Should be interesting to see how that shakes out. There's not a whole lot.
I think that can only be a good thing. I mean, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Yeah, I mean, this distribution, it's hilarious. Our guest was, for those that don't know, and I think some people probably don't know this, we just had Shawn on, who's from Overstreet Access. Overstreet Access is part of Overstreet. Overstreet was part of the same team under the Jeppy family of companies that was Diamond, basically. So when he's talking about some of the weird stuff that's been going on, that was what he was talking about. and all the crazy diamond stuff happening. So that's kind of what he was alluding to. And surprised nobody asked any questions about that. You know, he said before the show, you kind of see what he could say if anybody asked anything. But yeah, we appreciate him coming on.
Cool info for us that we had to ask all the other questions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I knew it was going to kind of happen a little bit as once we started talking about some of the stuff with Overstreet Access. It's like I know he was primarily coming on like want to talk about all the new features, which is awesome. But I also knew like there's gonna be a lot of people that are just curious about everything about Overstreet Access because it's such a cool tool.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's interesting and like it's changed and grown so much since I first checked it out too. So definitely a tool that he will listen to that. Like he will really listen to that feedback that he's asking for from people. So
very cool.
Next up, though, I'm not even going to play the bumper because I don't want to take too long. But I do want to talk about.
Stuck in Dave's head.
I know, but it is about close to a minute long or something like that. So I want to, or 30 seconds or something. It still seems.
Yeah, we wasted more time than the bumper would have been talking about it.
Now, yeah. But I wanted to. There's a couple of things I want to say after this too. But I do want to show off our amazing, wonderful, fantabulous community artwork that we received this week. Don't worry, I'll make each picture bigger here. Let's see. So we would have showed off. Yeah, we showed off that stuff last week. So, excuse me as I break out my first yawn for everybody. I know they love that. We answer the call. That's right. Jay's just got it in there already. He
knows the song. It's already stuck in his head.
What's up, Awesome Sauce Radio?
Hey, buddy.
You just missed an interview with Shawn from Overstreet Access. We were talking about some of the new features at Overstreet Access. Their digital collection management and price guide is rolling out. But now we're showing off community artwork. We're going to start with this amazing community artwork. I know you can tell us more about this, Big B, because it's your art.
Yeah, I stopped by my buddy Trav, Comics Limited's house last night. He's helping me ship some stuff out, and he just happened to be going live on Whatnot, and so I just grabbed a stack of backer boards and started sketching and giving away sketches on Whatnot while he was. So that's Joker.
Was this personalized to somebody who bought it named Felix or something? Or?
Felix was the guy who won it. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a buyer giveaway for each one. So that Felix won the Joker, and then Johnny won the Batman.
Be good, Johnny.
Be good, Johnny.
This reminds me a lot of some of the great Batmans you've done before, and I'm not trying to belittle that by any stretch of the imagination, but that Joker is dope, dude. I
know. I something took over when I was doing the Joker.
Maybe I should be worried. Maybe you got that dark side. I don't know. That's really cool, man.
No, where I had him pulling on the smile. I was like, okay, that's kind of creepy.
I like that a lot. I mean, that's totally be a cover, 100%. And then Steve. This is Steve.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Steve, if you're watching on the rewind, I don't think you're in the chat, brother, but if you're watching on the rewind, I know you share a lot of your art with us. Dude, maybe try to do some more animated characters because you did a really good job on this one, man. Like that's
super good. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. There's no need to fear. Underdog is here. Try telling that to all my turkey friends out there. I'm leaving before Thanksgiving, says the goose, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe a Canada goose. Can't really quite tell.
Yeah. Good job, Steve. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
And nice. Steve, man, he messaged me today. I just want to say, hey, you're making progress. I see progress every week when you send me pictures, buddy. So keep it up.
Getting some love for that Joker here. And
thank you, guys.
Eyes on the Joker. Biggie, that Joker is big pimping, bro. There you go.
Thank you.
Some love for Underdog. And then even by the way, this is on my Discord server here. Andreas Collects said that was cool. You know, so you got people in here like they're checking out your artwork. You guys can go in there and share your artwork. The link is in the description below for that. Matthew McNatt coming in with a Lion-O. Matthew, I don't know Matthew. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got this?
Matthew, he did a piece last week for us. He did that Trap Jaw piece.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so we can scroll up and show his contact. But he's an Instagram guy, and so he just sent that to me. He's like I said, he's the guy following his dreams of becoming an artist while doing his day job.
That's right.
He's right there, that guy. MPM original. There he
So
is.
that was the one he's talking about, and then there's the contact card for Instagram if you want to go give him a follow.
Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
yeah, and he's a GI Joe enthusiast too. So
yeah, it looks like a lot of 80s properties from what I'm seeing so far. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly has been such a huge help for this round of Heroes for Heroes, straight up, and is also an extremely talented artist. That picture doesn't quite show off the contrast to show off how cool that cover is.
The way that picture is makes me think of that. You know, you got the dun 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 dun.
Yeah, the Batman theme. Yeah,
it's the lighting. Yeah, the mood lighting.
I can't read what.
What is this? I can't read what it says. Yeah,
or is that? Oh, it's Deadpool. Okay. So I thought it was Red Hood for a second. I'm sorry, Dan. If you send in a higher quality photo of that one, I'll definitely show it off a little bit more. But Dan, we actually have a Dan Captain America sketch cover and a Joe Kubert inspired Sergeant Rock original art that we're offering from Dan for Heroes on Saturday. Oh yeah, 100%. Awesome sauce. Just because I know I'm not saying you only are into this kind of stuff, but if it's any of the not safe for work kind of stuff, I do have a not safe for work channel on the sub too, or on the Discord, for things like, you know, cosplay and booty covers and that kind of stuff. So just FYI, just in case it is that kind of stuff, I don't want to surprise people if it is that. So we have to talk about this for a second. This is the piece from Phil Tastic, who's been on our community art streams and stuff before that we've done for Heroes. We've actually shown this piece before. This beast he's done, but he's actually offering this up this time. We're gonna get this sent out to a winner. We're gonna run it on Saturday for Heroes.
That's right. We got all the information on the dimensions and what kind of paper it's done on and everything. So
it's on an 11 by 17 for those wondering. And I don't remember.
I think it was pen and ink.
Pen and ink. Okay, there we go. Pen and ink. So yeah, and we'll show off the high quality photo of that and everything too on the stream. But you'll get a chance to win that on Monday if you want to. He's right behind me, isn't he? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's great. Yeah.
Dominic Gomez, little Peter Parker and Mary Jane here, man. There's like a modern weird dynamic between Peter and Mary Jane I'm picking up from this photo, that kind of tense relationship kind of thing they got going on.
Yeah,
I like it. I like seeing the emotion.
Good work, man. Yeah, good work. He's doing a lot of sequential stuff right now, so every time I'm like, hey, you got anything? He's like, I haven't done anything that's like a splash page or anything. I'm like, we can show sequential. It's like, no, I'm sure it's a splash page.
Actually, it's kind of a subtle thing, but I really like the solid color behind it too.
Yeah, it's really good. Good job, Dominic.
Oh, we got some stuff at Irwin. We always love showing off some Irwin stuff. That's a killer ghost.
Man, that's so good. I love that ghost rider.
Yeah. Dude, the details in that skull and the fire and everything. Like I love the way Adam Warren draws skulls and fire and stuff, and I'm really getting a lot of reminiscence from Adam Warren stuff on that. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's so
good.
Great
job,
man.
And then this is really topical for us because we just went and watched Predator Badlands, but we got a little Predator action here.
Man, good job, man.
Very
so
cool.
Yeah,
very cool. That I mean this in the nicest way possible, Erlen. That is one ugly mother. But in the best way possible. And then this is hey, Travis himself came in here and posted this. I was gonna try to shoot a different picture when he gets home, but didn't see that one in yet, so we'll show this one. This is
speaking of Heroes for Heroes, he's gonna be bringing that one to the auction. Yeah.
Yep, little Scarlet sketch cover here. Did a great job. You got that booty in there, which I appreciate. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But still did a really great job on that. Besides that, we got the Arashikage clan logo in the back too, which is cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Good job. Very nice. Very nice.
Ed Art is 76 has been posting a little bit of update here on that character, which I believe was part of a tryout for Rippaverse stuff, I think is what we said, right?
Yeah, that's Edward Lilly.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Very cool.
Good job, Ed.
Character.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then hey, speak of Roscoe.
That's right.
Got some Roscoe in
the
here.
Man, the myth, the legend. Woo!
Nice.
Love that.
That's cool too.
So good. Yeah. Then that spawn is all totally set up for a sticker, man. Totally.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Make a sticker out of that one, brother.
Dude, you did a good job on those. Hey, Roscoe's still here. That's awesome.
There he is. Hey, man, that's great.
Hey, so
Good
since
work.
I just showed off all that great community artwork, whoops, that's the wrong view I'm going for. I'll just want to take one last second because I know we have some people here that weren't here in the beginning of the show. Speaking of Spawn, it's reminding me of this. This is some awesome artwork that we got from Brett Booth. Thanks again so much to Dan Kelly, who we just showed off some of his artwork. He was able to get the connection going for Brett to send this in. I'm a huge fan of Brett Booth, always have been since the 90s. It's a test that he did for a Spawn card is what the information I have. And I'm hoping to get a little more information on it. The whole thing's on an 11x17. There is some, it's really hard to see on camera, but there is some extra artwork on the right there that runs. Yeah, it's kind of just like, I think, background testing and kind of stuff he was doing. But thanks so much to Brett Booth for sending that in. Thanks, Dan Kelly, for organizing that. How can you possibly win that? All you got to do is join Big B, who's now over here, Big B, and myself on Saturday. Trav, Comics Limited, will be there for part of that as well, at least on Saturday.
He might be there for the whole thing.
Okay,
we'll see.
Cool. I didn't want to speak for him, but on Saturday, November 22nd, from 12 p.m. Pacific, which is 3 p.m. Eastern.
We're gonna be auctioning that one off too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got the hey. Let me make you the big screen here.
Pikachu and Mario is going to be up there getting auctioned off. So
John Basimo
homage there for that. And then, oh, hey, shout out to Poteet's Pop Culture. He donated a bunch of stuff. I don't know how much of. I know we're trying to get through all the previous donations, but he donated a ton of new stuff. Some signed books.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to go through some of that stuff. I don't know what all is there, but you do, and we'll touch
a bunch of really cool promo posters from back in the day. Like a Spawn 8 promo poster that was up that you would have seen like in a comic shop window.
Oh, right on. And then we have, like, speaking of that kind of stuff, we have Patton Oswalt signed a poster along with a bunch of creators that was donated by Dark Horse. So we'll have that to auction off. Anything that we have held over from previous events that we didn't get a chance to run is getting run. Almost all the new stuff is getting run. We might hold a couple things just for time reasons or whatever, or to build up our stock for the next auction, which will be like in May or June. But if you're watching this still, we'd appreciate you checking that event out on Saturday. That show is scheduled. It's up right now. You can go bookmark it. It's on the Bronze Age Nerd YouTube channel. Yeah, awesome artwork. Thanks again, Roscoe, and everybody else that's sending that artwork. If you want to send that artwork in, my link is in the description for my Discord server. In the description, all you got to do is click on that. You'll join up. And then you can go to the community art submission channel and you can post your artwork. You can check out all the artwork everybody's ever posted. You can, comment and tell everybody their art's awesome. You can hit them up and ask if you want to get a commission done, all that kind of stuff. We'd love to see that kind of interaction in there.
For sure.
Real fast, Adam wants to know, how was Predator Badlands? Still need to see that as well as the new Running Man, which I'm scared to go see. I've heard good and bad things from that, but yeah. Spoiler-free review. I will say I thought Predator Badlands was absolutely badass. It's exactly what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. It was and again, I'll stay spoiler free. I'm not even going to go into generic details, but I will say it was surprising in a couple ways, in good ways.
Yeah. It was so good. I wanted more at the end.
So awesome sauce. To answer your question, if you want to participate by helping out Heroes for Heroes, there is a way to do that if you can't make it to the show. I'm pasting the link in the chat right now where you can go donate today to donate if you'd like to. It doesn't come with any physical rewards or anything like that for donating. However, if you're interested in participating in any kind of other way, all you gotta do is hit me up, man, and we can definitely talk about that. But that's just kind of a generic way for people to get in there and do that donation now. And I totally understand if people can't make it to that specific show. That said, Big B, you got anything else you want to hit on before we close her down for the night?
I'm going to be putting up a video pretty shortly here, an interview with Michael Poteet, the guy who donated stuff, who I did that great trade with a while ago. I picked up a few more books this week, so I'll watch out for those videos for that. And couple other videos about some swaps.
Right on. Stay tuned. I have a second Instagram page I run, which is at Heroes 4 Heroes Comics. You can go join that page and follow along where you'll see some of the donations getting posted all this week. I've already put up several of them, and you'll see more going up throughout the week too of some of the cool stuff we've got. And you can kind of get a little early preview into what you'll be able to bid on Saturday. Just the plea I give out is, if you're able to join that stream, even if you're able just to kind of hang out and just be participating in the chat or just there viewing, all of that helps. It's a free way to help. Sharing out the stream helps. It's a long stream. People come and go. We lose bidders because they have things they have to go do. If you want to come in and join at any point throughout that stream, we kind of try to hold some of the better items through the end of the stream. And we do try to run some of the stuff we know people are really there for. About half an hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours into the show, we'll be trying to run some of those things we know everybody's there for, because that's usually when we get the most participation. Right. But we'll still have great stuff all the way through the end of the show.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, if you're there, you can always be like, you see something coming up, we'll talk about stuff that's coming up, and you can maybe message it out to a friend or whatever, that, hey, they're gonna be selling this thing that you really are interested in, so.
Yeah. Like, I know you're a big, Spawn fan. Hey, original art from Brett Booth going up right now, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And we'd love to see that. That's very helpful. Throughout the week, if you can share out that stream any way possible, we'd appreciate it. That said, we appreciate you being here. Thanks again to our guest earlier, which was Shawn from Overstreet Access. That was really awesome. If you did win one of the gold memberships, if you're one of the 3 that won, please make sure you get in touch with me with your name and email address, and I can get you in touch with Shawn to get that unlimited gold membership for life, which is awesome.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Congrats to everybody who won. That's really cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Shawn. And thanks you all for watching. Have a great and safe week. We'll see you on Saturday, I hope, for that next auction. And then we'll see you back here on Monday, where I'm sure we're going to recap how that went and talk about some more news and share some more community artwork. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll catch you in the next one.